In today's session of Divorce Court, Karen Howard says her husband Eugene's cruelty cost her dearly.
He locked me up in the bathroom.
Locked you up in the bathroom?
Totally untrue, Your Honor.
He's the reason why my mother died.
And that he's nothing but a common criminal.
He scandaled me from the beginning. You don't have nothing. I had everything before we got married.
Karen married me because she's an opportunist.
Are you all right?
Today, Karen Howard must find the strength to face Eugene Howard one last time in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Eugene Howard versus Karen Howard. Ms. Howard, I understand that after a year and a half of marriage, with 20-something years of friendship, you want a divorce?
Yes.
Well, what happened?
Well, I have 5 kids. He said he wanted to help me take care of the kids, and I believed him. But after we got closer into our relationship, he started being very abusive to me.
What'd he do?
First thing he did was lock me up in the bathroom.
Locked you up in the bathroom, meaning he physically put you in there and didn't let you out?
Like hold the door like this and tell me he's not letting me out.
And block it with his body?
That's not true,
That's
Your Honor.
that's the
That's
truth.
not true,
And
Your
I had
Honor.
the phone in my hand and I had to call 911 and then I left and that's when
How'd you leave if he didn't let you out?
I told him the police told me to go out the house and then he let me go.
What do you have to say about that, Mr. Howard?
Your Honor, that's totally untrue.
So you're saying you never locked her in the bathroom?
No.
You never restrained her movements?
No, I did not.
That's a lie.
that's
You
all a
did
lie.
too.
That's all a lie.
I came back and my car was flattened, all 4 of my tires were slashed, my TVs are gone, my son is deaf, he can't hear, and he took my son's deaf TV, and my son had to watch TV with nothing, no translation or anything.
Explain that, Mr. Howard. Now
Okay.
she's saying you didn't do anything to her, but she left, she came back, tires slashed. Is that true or is that a lie?
Your Honor, that's the tires were slashed.
Now how did they get slashed?
I was not there, Your Honor.
No, you were
you
there.
have-
You
Your
were
Honor,
mad because you couldn't
Your
get
Honor,
the car started.
Hold on, Miss Howard, let him explain it.
When the police was there, we had 2 cars. The police told Karen to take
No, it's
one
not
car.
a we. I
and
have 2 cars.
take
You don't have
one car.
nothing. It's not no we. You don't
Karen-
have anything.
Miss Howard, why do you say he doesn't have anything?
Because he married me with all this stuff. I had everything before we got married, and he had nothing. He had a bicycle. That's
a
all
lie.
he
So wait a
had.
minute, so
He had his left foot and his right foot. That's all.
That's
He
a
didn't
lie,
have
Your Honor.
anything. He scandaled me from the beginning. He's the reason why my mother died. Because
Wait
he
a
wanted
minute, wait a
her
minute.
house.
Your
Hold
Honor,
on, hold. Why do you say that he scandaled you? It was your 2 cars. How long did you know this man?
I've known him for at least 25 years. I've known him
So if
since
you knew
I
him
was
for
9 years
25
old.
years, how did he scandal you?
We went together when we 17 years old. He went away to the Army. He asked me to marry him. I told him no because my mom won't let me. He went away.
So that's when you were in high school?
He went his way. Yeah, he went his way and I went my way. And then after all those years, we got back together. Then he said, you ought to marry me to help you raise those kids.
Your Honor,
and that's what
So
I
you
did.
met him several years, 20-something years after high school.
Yes.
Your Honor, we grew up down the street from each other. We've known
Yeah,
each
you
other
used to
exactly-
abuse me then. You used to
We've
abuse
known
me when
each
I was
other
9 years
31
old.
years.
Hit me
Howard.
on my butt
Miss Howard.
and say, oh, fat booty, liar.
Miss Howard.
Moving
Hold on
out.
a second.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Howard,
ma'am.
be quiet a minute. I need to hear what he has to say. I'm going to let you respond, all right? So you still thought she was the woman that you had left from high school?
Yes, I stepped into the marriage. I would get up in the morning. I cooked breakfast. I'd serve her breakfast
Oh,
in bed.
yeah.
The kids.
Yeah, right.
I cooked dinner. I ironed their school
Yes,
clothes in the
you
morning.
did.
Karen married me because she's an opportunist.
All right, now why
and a
did she
gold
marry you
digger.
as an opportunist and a gold digger? What did you have?
Because she wanted a house where I am able to buy a house on my GI Bill.
Explain that to me. You said she was a gold digger and an opportunist.
Yes.
You could buy a house on a GI Bill. Here's a
Yes.
woman 20-something years later, 5 children. She needed your GI Bill to buy a house?
She was trying to buy a house and would not qualify for one, Your Honor.
And so you said she married you for your GI
devil
Bill.
is a liar.
Then we got married, and once we had to run our credit together,
Yeah.
Karen's credit was so bad, well, not bad, but she
I got
she
you
had
right
more
here,
loans.
baby. This is my credit.
She
Tell
had
me it's
she had
bad.
more loans against her credit. She had more. She
Her
owed more
debts
debts
were more than her money.
than her income.
No
All right.
way, Jose. You're
And
lying.
so then we were not able to get our house at
You're
that
lying.
time
You're
So then
still
what
because
lying.
we were paying. When I married her, I guess I married a debt too because we ended up paying $440.
Yes, you did marry
You
her
never
debts.
paid
We ended up
nothing.
paying $440 a month.
Yeah, on debts.
On her
I
mother's
paid
house.
the rent.
On her
I know
mother's
you
house.
never
Your
paid
Honor.
on my mother's house.
Okay, you know
baby,
what,
let me
Mrs.
tell you.
Howard? I cannot
I'm
get
sorry,
heads and
Judge.
tails,
I'm
and I
sorry.
cannot get a good understanding of what's going on. I'm going to give you an opportunity. Please, just calm down for a
Okay.
minute.
We paid.
You all right? Hold on. Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right.
You
Because-
counting? You just mad?
No, I'm trying
Are
to
you
keep
feeling
from crying.
ill?
I'm
Your
trying
Honor,
to keep
she's
from
an actress,
crying.
so
Miss-
she will cry on you.
Okay, so
So we paid $440 a month.
Why you keep
And
using
the only
we?
reason
Use me.
I agreed
Don't use
to that
we.
is
Use
that
me.
one day
me.
we would get the interest back out, and we could buy our house. So now her mom has died. She's told everybody in the community. We grew up together, so everybody knows it. We have the same friends.
I don't have your friends. Your friends are
I killed
bad
her mother.
influence.
now she's telling everybody you killed her mother.
I killed
You
her
did
mother.
kill her.
Her mother and I went to the same church.
No, my
It
mother,
went all
my
through the
pastor
church
told me
house.
you
all
never
right,
went
all right. You know
there.
what? We're going off on a tangent. Miss Howard, we're going off on a tangent.
sorry, Your
and you guys
Honor.
are just yelling and screaming and we're
I'm
not
sorry.
getting anywhere.
So
Let me
she-
try to understand one
lying.
thing.
He's
One of the
just
issues
lying.
here is the $440 per month
Yes.
payment for a loan for her mother's property.
Right, which I was supposed to get my money back.
And so
So-
you think you ought to be repaid.
We've got about $6,000 invested in the house in community money.
What do you mean $6,000? How
In
you figure
payments,
that?
we paid the notes on there for roughly 13 to 14 months, John, at $440 a month. Only thing I want out of it is half the money that I paid into it because now Karen has possession of the house.
So now you're saying that she married you for money and she was an opportunist.
Yes.
She wanted you to buy her house with
And-
your GI Bill. She didn't qualify for that, but instead she got a loan for her mother's house.
She had the loan before we got married, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So then she didn't marry you to get the GI loan.
They had spent the money into her mother's house.
All right.
She
Now,
had
what
no
are you
money
trying
when
to
I
say?
married
You
her.
said that he married you and he was the opportunist and he scandaled and used you. Explain that. Why are you saying that, Ms. Howard?
I believe that Joe's the reason why my mom died.
Why do you think that?
Because he was taking me to court. He's taken me to court several times. This time he was taking me to court for my mother's house and my brother's car. I didn't want to.
Let her finish, Mr. Howard.
I didn't want to tell my mom that he was trying to get her house. I didn't want to tell her. And when I finally did, because I didn't know which way the court was going to go, so I had to tell my mom.
He had sued you for her house.
Yeah. And then I had to tell my mom. And then my mom died 2 days later.
What did she die from? A heart attack?
Massive.
She's had 3 or 4 heart attacks before.
I
the
thought I
injury.
was talking.
You are talking. You think that he killed your mother. We don't know that, and I'm sorry for your mother's death. And I hope that wasn't, it may have contributed, but did she have heart trouble before?
My mom had heart trouble. She wasn't very strong.
So don't blame, I mean, the stress of it
I'm
could
just-
have, but don't blame him for that because we don't ever know why people die.
She had a heart attack 3 months before that, Your
Okay,
Honor.
let's just not talk about her mother anymore.
When divorce court returns, will Eugene obey the judge's order?
You got $40 in your pocket now?
I have $4 in my pocket.
Give it to her.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce Court is back in the case of Karen Howard, who blames her mother's death on her husband Eugene.
So you've inherited the house since your mother died?
because the house payment is up so big, I had to get rid of the truck. I had to get rid of a lot of bills just to pay the $840-something. It's all right here.
Well, did you get this loan before you married Mr. Howard?
Yes, I got the loan way before we even, like he says, whatever, way before I had the loan. He has nothing to do with it. He wasn't even involved. I didn't even know he existed.
And it was just your mother's property?
It's just my mom's
And it was in her
property.
name only?
It was in both of our names.
So
after
it was
we
you
got
and
the
your mother's
loan.
property?
Yes.
And the two of you married and you continue to pay the note?
I continue to pay the
Your
400.
half of the note.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I have the 5
But why don't
kids.
you think he's entitled to half of it back?
Because he's never paid for nothing, Your Honor. He's never paid for our own food in our own house.
When you married him, was he working?
No. But I wanted to have somebody so bad, I accepted him. And
So you wanted a man for your children?
it was a father. I wanted a father for my kids.
So then what
that's
happened?
not true, Your Honor.
Let her finish. So once you wanted a father for your children, you're saying he wasn't there as a father?
No, because he was hardly at home. He wasn't even hardly there. And when he was there, all he did was fuss at us and make us all feel bad. And he hurt me. He beat me up while I was pregnant with my son.
How did he beat you up while you were pregnant? You have a child together?
We have
Yes,
one child,
we
Your Honor,
have-
but I did not
So tell
beat
me
her.
about that. Tell me about it, Ms. Howard.
He beat me up because I couldn't get off the floor fast enough to get my daughter some medicine. And I was pregnant. I kept saying, wait a minute, Joe, wait a minute, let me get up. I was sitting on the
That's
floor. And when he
Totally
just,
untrue, Your Honor.
Let
he
her
just pulled
finish,
me up
Mr.
and
Howard.
pushed me into the bedroom. And I kept telling him, I said, well, Joe, it's take time for me to get up. And he just kept getting madder and madder. And then he started beating me up. And then after he finished beating me up, he told me not to get off the bed. He told me to stay there. Stay in this room, don't get off the bed. And when he was at the door, he did me like this. If you ever take my son or my baby out of the state, I'll kill you.
This was when you were pregnant?
When I was pregnant.
You didn't
And
have
then
the
I
child
didn't-
yet? Isn't
No,
that what he
but-
said?
but
Why,
he-
you told him you were leaving?
No, but he's just telling me that I better not leave.
That's
And then-
totally untrue. Totally untrue.
And then
Your
when
Honor.
I finished, when I woke
Let her
up,
finish.
when I got up that morning, I didn't know what to do, and I asked God what to do. He said, call the police. And I called the police, and they came in, took pictures of me. I had bruises all over my arms and on my head because he kept punching me all over. They took pictures of me.
While you were pregnant?
While I was pregnant with my son. He's beaten me up twice, and he's beaten me up even over my daughter when we were in the car. He'll tell me to shut up, and he'll just
That's
punch
not
me
true,
like
Your
that
Honor.
in my face.
Your Honor, I'm 280 pounds.
You're
If
right.
I would have hit Karen, if I would have hit Karen, the
Yeah,
way
you
she
did. You
described
broke
it.
my nose.
Yeah, I what?
You broke my nose.
You know what?
It bled for 2 days.
A lot of times people hit folks the way they describe, even at 228 pounds, and the damage is not as severe.
I'm
Grace
280,
of
Your
God.
Honor.
That's fine.
I'm 280.
So what you
Your
gonna
Honor.
tell me? If you had hit her, she'd be dead?
If I would have hit, Your Honor, I'm 280. I stayed in the Army 19 years, 6
Okay,
months, and 3
what's the
days.
point?
I was an infantry soldier. The only thing I learned how to do in the military was
It's
kill.
kill. Yeah, that's
If
what
I
you
would
tried
have
to do to
hit
me
Karen,
several times.
if I would have hit Karen, she would not be standing here now.
That's not necessarily true, Mr. Howard.
Because I never,
Mr.
ever
Howard,
put
that
any.
is not-
I never hit Karen open-handedly.
That's why the police
close-handedly.
came and got
I
me. They
grabbed
Stop
her
it.
shoulders.
Stop it now. That is not necessarily true. And the typical response and statement of a batterer when they don't want to admit that they hit a person is, look at how big I am. If I had hit her, she'd be dead. Not necessarily so. Many of men your size have hit women and they haven't been dead. For whatever reason, grace of God, or you catch yourself and you start in a swing, and instead of going full swing, you release part of it and go part of the swing. There are any number of ways that reasons why she's not dead.
Well,
you know what?
I have marks all over my body that she
Your
did.
response is very typical. Am I right, Joe? Now you want your money back for the house. What do you want?
I want him to leave me alone. I want him to stop asking me for my mother's house and all of her things. I want my son's
Now, what about the
TV
TV,
back.
the closed
My-
caption TV for her
Your
son?
Honor.
What happened to that?
Karen destroyed my clothes. I took the TV, bought me an extra set of clothes because the only
I
clothes I
bought you
had.
those
Hold on,
clothes.
Mrs. Howard. Let him finish, please.
The only clothes after she destroyed my clothes was the ones I had on my back. So I pawned the
can destroy
television
any
and
kind of
I
clothes
bought.
I want that belong to me.
I bought some more clothes.
So why did
Wait a minute, Your Honor. I gave her the pawn receipt. I only pawned the television for $40, nothing to buy a shirt and a pair of pants. I gave her the receipt back
What did you do with the
and the
other
money.
Now, let me
and
ask
the
you
money to go get the television. She chose not to get it
So
back.
you already
Lying.
gave her the $40?
He never gave me $40. He never gave me one dime for
You got $40
anything.
in your pocket now?
I have $4 in my pocket. Your
Give it to her.
Yeah, and I gave her $40.
Give her $40.
I just want him to leave.
Just be quiet for a minute.
I've got $33, and I just need to go to the ATM machine.
Give it a 33.
He's going to get me.
Take the $33, Miss Howard. He's not going to hit you.
I'm not gonna hit
You
her.
think he's going to hit you with Joe? He's not that crazy.
Definitely not, Your
Joe
Honor.
not standing over there for nothing.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
Sometimes life don't throw us a fair deal, but the law is the law.
And an update on the case of Michelle Archie versus Odell Larkins.
Your Honor, I could count on both of my hands how many times we slept in the same bed. Tell me, how can you have a marriage and you're not home?
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court is back in the case of Karen Howard, who says her husband Eugene is to blame for her mother's death.
Now let's talk about the house. The money spent to pay for your mother's house and your house that you owned before you married him.
He never paid a dime.
Okay,
Your
now
Honor.
that's the issue, and let me make a ruling on that. He's not contending that he paid a dime. He didn't have to pay a dime. It wasn't his house. It was your house and your mother's house, right?
Yes.
You and your mother got the loan.
Yes.
And the property was in your name and your mother's name.
Yes.
Bought it before the marriage.
Yes.
That's what we call separate property. Once you married Mr. Howard, all of your earnings became community property. Every dime you earned became community property. Half of your paycheck belonged to him.
But he never gave me half of his
your,
paycheck.
I didn't say that he did.
He never gave me half of
You
his
wanna walk out?
paycheck. No, I'm just upset.
Well, you can be upset. And I'm sorry,
I
but the
can't
law is
believe
the
because
law.
he doesn't have half of nothing to give to me. Nothing.
Okay, now, Miss Howard, I've allowed you to talk. It's my turn. Sometimes life don't throw us a fair deal, but the law is the law. Sounds unfair, but that's life. It's not always fair. But $440 that you spent every month, one half of that belonged to him. That was community money used for a separate property investment for which he did not benefit.
It's not fair. He killed my mom.
You must reimburse him $222 for each month that you were married and living together.
Where am I gonna get that with 5, 6 kids? I haven't.
I don't know
for
what you can do.
milk.
What you can do is give him a second trust
No
deed.
diapers, nothing.
Okay. Child support is another issue, and you're entitled to child support for your son.
She already gets it.
I don't get child
Miss
support.
Howard.
I don't, not for
Miss
you,
Howard.
scammer.
Mrs. Howard.
Leech.
Okay, she wants to not hear me.
I hear you, ma'am. I'm
One
sorry.
way you can do it is you can give him a note secured by a deed of trust against the house for the $3,000, $3,108.
Here's
You can
$30
pay him
on
monthly.
his loan back.
All right, subtract $33. That's fine. But you have to pay it to him. You owe it to him. If it was the other way around, he'd owe it to you.
But he never paid anything.
know what?
It's not fair.
Okay, it's not fair. You've said that 10 times. That's the order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Michelle Archie versus Odell Larkins.
He told me we were going to be together.
You didn't understand that marriage meant that you had to be where your wife was?
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Michelle Archie said her husband Odell wasn't ready to be married and kept running in and out of her life.
Your Honor, I could count on both of my hands how many times we slept in the same bed. Tell me, how can you have a marriage and you're not home? He told me we were going to be together. And this is what he had me thinking.
You didn't understand that marriage meant that you had to be where your wife was?
Odell told the judge that since his separation from his wife, he had nowhere else to live and wanted her to pay for him to move back to Alabama so that he could be with his family. The judge ordered that Michelle let him stay in her house for 30 days so that he could save enough money to move. After Odell left court, he decided that it was best not to move back in with Michelle because he was afraid she would try to win him back. He saved enough money and moved home to Alabama and is happy to be back with his friends and family.
It's a good man out there for me. A real good man, a solid man.
She's very dramatic. She knows how to get sympathy and people to fall her way.
He should give me back my TV, and he knows he's lying. He knows it. But I tell you what, I'll pay him back his $3,000.
I doubt very seriously if I ever get paid back.